This is the eHealth Radio Network, your source for health advice on demand. And now your host, Eric Michaels.
Thanks for joining us once again here on the eHealth Radio Network. This is your host, Eric Michaels. Today on the program, we're speaking with Mr. Kareem Cook, the CMO of Nature Aid, who has revolutionized the natural supplement industry with the expansion of their Nature Aid brand. And Mr. Cook, thanks for joining us here today on eHealth Radio.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
And we're certainly pleased to have you with us and looking forward to hearing all the details on Nature Aid and what it is that you offer. So how did you actually begin your foray into the health industry and subsequently Nature Aid? Let's start there.
Well, my business partner, Claude Tellis, and I were at Duke University together. And at that time, we would have these discussions about our families. We both come from large families. Now, everyone at a certain age pretty much dies of heart disease or diabetes or symptoms related to diabetes. And having, that large of a family and that large sample set, was something that we discussed. And we were like, man, we wish we could do something about it. And that was in college. But then when we graduated from business school and I went back we both met at Duke University. I went back to Duke for my MBA. He went to Wharton. We decided to do something about it. And so we moved to California and Los Angeles. First thing we saw were all these overweight kids, and that was shocking to us. Being from the East Coast, we kind of believed what we saw on TV, that everyone was in perfect shape. And we just said to ourselves, what if we put healthy vending machines in the schools and try to deal with this child obesity crisis that we're reading about? And within 2 years, we ended up getting the contract for every single public high school, middle school in Los Angeles, every single YMCA, and we led a movement that resulted in the law changing, banning junk food in public schools between the hours of 8 and 4. And that was our introduction. We saw a problem, we saw a crisis. We realized that no one's going to do anything about it. If not us, then who? And so we did something. We started that company, and that's how we got into the health and wellness space and really trying to address diet-related illnesses as a crisis.
Well, I certainly can appreciate your efforts in making this happen, and not only that, but the crisis is there, and you're certainly trying to do something about it, and we appreciate it. What makes Nature Aid different from its competitors? Talk to us about that from that angle.
So there are quite a few companies that sell plant-based products or products that deal with gut health and weight loss and such. However, and people get into it for different reasons. There are some companies that are really hardcore vegan and it's about the animals and animal welfare and animal cruelty. There are some companies that are more concerned about the environment and what animal agriculture does to the environment, global warming and the like. And those things are important, but for us, it was more personal. So it was about our family. How do we save the people that we love from dying? And so because that was our main objective, we approached it differently. We were going to be asking people to put down, the bacon, eggs, and grits and all the bad meals that lead to these kind of illnesses, then it better taste good. So we made products that tasted good, but were still low glycemic. So, around 4 grams of sugar, but we had to figure out how to make it taste good. And then our message was one of balance, right? And so we know that 5% of the population are vegan. We know that there are 100 million people who are pre-diabetic, and we know that that message can be polarizing. And so our message has been balanced. It'd be great if you could do a plant-based diet the whole time, and that'd be awesome. But if not, then we want you to maybe replace one meal a day, maybe replace breakfast, right? If you're going to do the bacon cheeseburger at night, then a plant-based smoothie in the morning that tastes really good, very nutritious for you, help you lose some weight, help clear up your skin, and live a little longer.
That is fantastic. Good stuff right there. Good information as well. Now, how has the obesity and diabetes epidemic impacted your company's mission? Talk to us about that as well.
Yeah, so, it was personal for us, and it really became our mission. Our mission was to reverse the pre-diabetes epidemic as we saw it. Like I said, there are 100 million people in this country that are pre-diabetic, meaning that if they do not change their course of action, they will become diabetic. That's a quarter of the population. And so we decided that there are tons of companies that sell similar products that are selling to the person who's aware of what they should be doing for their health and wellness. We decided that we're marketing to and messaging to people who may not have that information. We've often joked that, we're bringing whole food quality products to a Walmart consumer, right? They may not have the information. It may not be the lifestyle choices of the people around them, but not because it couldn't be or it's not attainable. It's just that no one has been talking to you in order to bring it to your attention that you can make very little changes. You can make a few changes and live a lot longer. And so that's how we differentiate ourselves. That's the market we're going after. These are the people we're talking to.
Once again, we're speaking with Mr. Kareem Cook, the CMO of Naturade, who has revolutionized the natural supplement industry with the expansion of their Naturade brand here on eHealth Radio's Health News and Supplement channels, a part of the eHealth Radio Network. Now, continuing on, Naturade is one of the only Black-owned products in Costco. What was the process to making the relationship happen there? I'm sure that would be some interesting backstory and information there.
Well, we had been trying to get into Costco for about 5 years prior to getting in. And so it was just a matter of continuing to knock on that door. And, Costco is not going to be, they're not a charity shop. They're the holy grail of distribution. And they're not going to bring you in just because, you have a feel good story. We identified a need, a hole in the market, right? And what they didn't have was a plant-based product, a non-whey based product that was focused on weight loss, and so we curated a product just for the opportunity that we saw existed in Costco. And we kept pushing them, but we also kept running our business in other areas. And what they could see as they watched us for 5 years was that we were a company that knew what we were doing. We had superior level, production management team, operations, and planning. And they understood that if they allowed us to come into their retail distribution channel, that we would be able to handle the business. And, if you can Costco is at the highest level of needing to manage your business because you're selling to, a large range of a large amount of people. And so you have to be at the top of your game. And they were able to watch us, and we were able to demonstrate to them that we could actually get in there and we could actually perform well in Costco as well as manage our business.
I like that. Good stuff there, and impressive and well done in those regards. Also, kind of tagging on to that last question, what can other minority entrepreneurs learn from the Naturade story?
Well, I think that this is a good time to get in because, one thing that happened during COVID, and a couple of things happened during 2020. One, COVID, and for us, it was when people were able to see right on their TV screens every day the amount of people that were succumbing to COVID, and it was disproportionately people that suffered from prior diseases like heart disease and diabetes and obesity and these kind of things. Then everyone all of a sudden saw what we were talking about. We've been talking about for years, and they were like, "Okay, that's what that's the issue that this company is trying to address." And so, so my advice is, make sure that you're selling relevant products that actually fulfill a need. There may be things that you like, but if there's no need for them, there's no hole in the market, then it'll be hard to gain distribution. And so we were able to very clearly identify a need, articulate why we were fulfilling that need. And then again, also the same thing, what also happened that year was George Floyd became the tipping point for the racial discussion in America. And what happened then was retailers kind of looked within and was like, you know what? We have been guilty on some level of not having a diversity of offerings from diversity of vendors coming as well. And so we were able to come in and capitalize on that moment, which still happens now. I think that if you are a company, a minority owned company that, you have competent, you have a competent management team, you have your processes are top notch, and you can handle the growth of a business and a multi-million-dollar business, then you should be approaching all of the retailers right now because they're looking for companies that are selling something new and exciting and that could bring diversity to their vendors. And it's a very good time to be a minority-owned company.
Mr. Cook, we certainly want to thank you for what you do and for joining us on behalf of Nature Aid and introducing Nature Aid to the audience. Before you go in conclusion, any closing thoughts, a takeaway, a tip, or anything else you'd like to mention as we conclude today?
I think that really I want to leave people with the message of pay attention to your diet, and really try to have more balance in what you're doing, because people who are become pre-diabetic don't often look like there's anything wrong, and so always pay attention to your diet, make sure you eat right, make sure you have balance. And we're a company that's here to help you along that journey and offer products to help you along that journey. And I wish you could continue luck to other minority-owned companies. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you about who we are and what we do.
Well, Mr. Cook, we certainly do appreciate your joining us on behalf of Nature Aid here today, and again, for what you're doing in the space. Where can listeners get more details on Nature Aid, and also where can they find Nature Aid products near them as well? Yeah,
so you can follow us at Naturade Life on Instagram. You can find our products in Costco. You can find us nationwide in Whole Foods. We have a product there called Vegan Smart. And you can find us in Target. And you can order all those products on Costco.com, Target.com, and you can visit us at Naturade.com. And again, the social media is at Naturade Life. Thank you for your support.
You're certainly more than welcome. Again, listeners, it is Naturade.com. Mr. Cook, all the best, and thanks so much for joining us here today on eHealth Radio.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And you're certainly more than welcome anytime. We've been speaking with Kareem Cook, the CMO of Naturade, who has revolutionized the natural supplement industry with the expansion of their Naturade brand. And for more details, simply visit, once again, Naturade.com. And again, this has been your host, Eric Michaels, and we do thank you for your continued support of the eHealth Radio Network. Join us again soon for another episode that will help further expand your knowledge on those things that are important to your health and wellness. For more eHealth Radio reports, we invite you to visit our main radio channel site at eHealthRadioNetwork.com. And as always, we do thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in to the eHealth Radio Network. For more information or to subscribe to this podcast, visit eHealthRadioNetwork.com.